Alrighty, hey guys, Crypto Clover. I wanted to go over a couple of different things, just give you guys a quick peek of where I'm at here. Amazing coffee. I like this place. I got the whole place, conference room area to myself. You can kind of see a little bit out here. It's a nice little coffee shop, but up on the 3rd floor, so I got the place to myself, which is great. They've got all these birds out here that are pretty cool. So they've got Robert, who owns a place. It's real big on, look at all these birds. Just got all these little birds out here, and you kind of come in and interact with them. So I like to give you guys a little bit of a peek with my travels to kind of where I'm at. So they're a little nervous around me. But this is Saigon. Amazing coffee. So I'm been working on a little bit of a list of some of the interviews. So I got a little bit inspired. There was a video which was the top 5 interviews that was done by Cointelegraph. So you can see here, Cointelegraph, they did their top 5 interviews. And there was some really interesting things about the interviews. So number 1 was the Andreas Antonopoulos with Joe Rogan. Vitalik's interview with TechCrunch was next, John McAfee. And then 2 others that I wasn't as familiar with, so I didn't put those include on my list. So one of them was Brad Garlinghouse. So I'm actually gonna have to watch that one. And then there was one that was done by Cointelegraph in the number 5 position. So, but anyways, I've been watching videos for a long time, and there was videos for me that were kind of interviews that kind of stood out, and so I kind of wanted to go a little bit over those and try to give my unbiased opinion in terms of the interviews that I think provide a lot of value, at least from my perspective. So everyone's going to have their own opinion. There's going to be a lot of different perspectives in this space. So these are my opinions. If you don't like it, leave a comment in the section below and let me know why you disagree. So to start off the list, I did an honorable mention, which was my video. So I'm not trying to shill my videos or anything like that, but this was one that's not even on my channel, but I wanted to show you guys. This is the interview that I did with Satish. So this was back when there were some interesting things going on with BitConnect. It was in 2017, was one of the largest trending coins, at one point hitting number 6 on CoinMarketCap, rising almost $3 billion in profit. It was a huge phenomenon in the space. There's a lot of people that have weighed in on their positions. Not everyone is really ultimately knows, everything that went on, but Satish was definitely very central to the entire project. He was leading a lot of the meetings in different parts of the world. As all Asia promoter, he was kind of the direct connection to BitConnect and is the one that everyone is still wanting to get some answers from. There's still a lot of people that are always approaching me and asking me, hey, have you talked to Satish? What's going on with BitConnect? What's going on with BitConnect X exchange? The exchange was supposed to be live here in April. And so a lot of people are still kind of wondering, what's going to happen with that. What the whole story was with that. I can see on my stream there's a lot of people talking about kind of the next one that a lot of BitConnect promoters or some of the larger BitConnect promoters, and Craig and Trevon, and there's Kinetic Energy and a few other guys that are promoting Proof of Weak Hands, which is a very interesting program I haven't invested in yet. I've seen Sunny Decrees kind of weighed in, Ivan Tech have kind of weighed in. Both of their opinions have been somewhat positive, and so I think what's really interesting about that is the possibility of that potentially working as like a kind of a pyramid scheme in a way. I mean, that's they kind of joke about it in the white paper. So I'm going to do another video on that later on and give you guys a little bit more of an in-depth review in terms of what I'm seeing there. As I mentioned yesterday, I did a full, how do I put this? Kind of walk through and tour of a place called Asama Mining here in Vietnam. And so I'm going to be working with those guys in terms of trying to promote their mining farms. And here in Vietnam, there's still kind of some interesting things. I was able to go in and see one of the mining farms and one of the other things. So I've got a bunch of video that I've got lined up to do that. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that, because I know I mentioned the other day that I was going to do a live stream from there. It just wasn't quite ready for that, but I'm going to put out a video for you guys. Here, doing, kind of going into some different areas of tech. And so this is the one he did on, AI, deep state, some different political undertones. It's a very long interview, an hour and 15 minutes. And I like to see people in this space kind of weighing in on some of these different topics. There's the Dollar Vigilante. I didn't really see an interview per se when I was kind of looking through his channel, but Dollar Vigilante has done some really interesting, kind of anarchist type videos. And so there's a couple of people that are in the crypto space that are kind of in that realm that are talking about some of these different things. And so I think those are important ideas and concepts to look into, to kind of explore and that sort of thing. And so that is why I have this on the list. It doesn't probably get as many, as many views as some of the other ones. This one has, almost 18,000 views, but it's worth noting. So next one, Tone Vays and Richard Heart are talking Bitcoin futures and Ethereum. So again, an hour and 30 long, stream. This is back, December of last year. There's some interesting, elements to these are two very knowledgeable guys. I'm a big, Richard Heart fan. What's great about Richard Heart is he does these, these timestamps where you can kind of look at some different aspects to the interview. So you don't have to look through an entire, hour and a half long interview. That's a little bit something different than, say, this one. We don't have that on Ozzy BS Filter, so you kind of have to skim through a lot of the content. So this is one thing that I've started doing with my channel, and once I find the time, I'm going to leave, I'm going to pin a comment with the links on some of those different videos and whatnot in the description below. And so, so I think those are some interesting elements to add to some of these videos, and that's why I've kind of ranked them in how I have. And so number 8, this one is another Richard Heart interview with Ivan on tech. And so another long one, 2 hours, but this one doesn't have the timestamp from what I understand, because this is on Ivan Tech's channel. So typically on Richard's channel, he's putting those timestamps or whatnot. But it's really, really good to see Ivan on tech, a very large personality in the crypto space. He puts out a lot of great videos, and he's definitely very knowledgeable. And it was interesting to kind of see him and Richard Heart, because they're kind of taking the conversation to a deeper level. And this is a really good way to expand some of your cryptocurrency knowledge in these areas, is exploring some of these different ideas. And so, they're kind of looking at IOTA, they're looking at, whether or not there's different bubbles in the cryptocurrency market. So there's some different aspects to that as well. Going through the list here, Andreas, this is another Ivan on tech. This is where he's looking at Andreas Antonopoulos and going through some different aspects of Ethereum. They're kind of like really taking these things to a very deep level. There's a lot of really interesting content when you're kind of skimming through. This is a shorter one, 22,000. 22,000. Sorry, where was I going? So there's this one's got almost 100,000 views, but there's there's a lot of interesting aspects to this. So that's kind of where I'm ranking these. So there was kind of like several like Ivan on tech, Richard Heart, Tone Vays. Those are some interesting interviews and some of the more viewed videos on those guys' respective channels. And so that was an interesting element. So this one got a lot of views. This was an interview by Crypto. So this is next on the list. This is a very basic interview, and it's gotten a lot of views, but it's very good introduction on going into cryptocurrency, how to invest, HODL basics. So this is a very kind of, beginner level video that I think provides a lot of value. And, this was an interesting, kind of looking into some of the aspects. This can be a very good way for people to kind of, get started in the cryptocurrency space. And so, so I welcome you guys to kind of check some of that out. Next one was an interview by DataDash, and DataDash has a pretty good reputation in the cryptocurrency space. This is an interview with Charles Hoskinson. So I had an opportunity to meet Charles at the Vietnam blockchain event here, and it was kind of interesting to get a chance to meet him and see him speak a little bit. So there was an interesting interview here for about an hour long where they're kind of going over Cardano, some of the newer technologies. This is one of DataDash's most viewed interview videos on his channel. So it's won about 120,000 views in, on this particular video. So this next one has gotten quite a few videos. So this is one that Vitalik did on TechCrunch. So this has got 660,000 views, a lot of views. And so this was one that I got off of the top 10 list that I've included on my list. I'd seen this a little bit before. I was actually kind of going through it a little bit more, and I think it was really interesting to hear some of the perspectives from a guy, a programmer of Vitalik's stature, really kind of breaking down and talking about some different elements to the cryptocurrency space, in particular Ethereum, and kind of where the smart contract aspect to that technology and how that's integrated into the blockchain and how they can be used for a lot of different things, including proof of weekends, which has been a big one that's been trending lately that a lot of people are very interested in. So Andreas Antonopoulos was his interviews with Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan podcast. These are there's several to choose from. This is the one that they got the most views, almost 600,000 views. There was quite a few other interviews that he had done. This is, I think, the most recent one, which was back September 7th of 2016. He's been on the podcast several times. I'm a Joe Rogan fan. I listen to his podcast every now and then, depending on who he's kind of talking to. But all of these, I think, are very all of the interviews and streams that he's done with Joe Rogan are, I think, really great topics that they're exploring and discussing. And so I put those very high on my list. I think that those have garnered a lot of attention, have brought a lot of renewed interest into the cryptocurrency space. And so I think that is a very interesting one. Next one, this is a CNBC interview by John McAfee. This was one that it's kind of been going a little bit viral on the internet. McAfee has been a very colorful personality in the space, and this was an interview kind of August, September of last year that really got him a lot of attention, where he was on one of the bigger news outlets, really kind of breaking things down from almost like an anarchist point of view, where his kind of central argument is how are you going to stop something that cannot be stopped? And so it was really interesting to kind of get his perspective, and that was one that has received a lot of interest. And the number one video that I've selected for my list was Richard Burr and Roger Burr and Richard Heart talking Bitcoin. This was a very interesting one. Again, what's great about these on Richard Hart's channel is he has a timestamp where he kind of goes through some of the different elements, but they really dug deep into a lot of different topics. This is one of my favorite interviews that I've come across on the internet talking about cryptocurrency, and so I encourage you guys to kind of check those out. These are some great interviews, and what I like about kind of the interview process is having two people talking about a particular topic, and they can kind of feed off of each other. This is such a technical aspect, the cryptocurrency space. It's very easy for people to have maybe a specialized expertise in a certain area and maybe not in others. And so that's my list. And I'm interested to kind of hear some of you guys' comments. So I encourage you guys to leave comments in the comment section below. I'm going to check in with the chat a little bit and then get off. I know it's kind of late back in the States. Crypto Alex, all right. DAP on DAP Raider. Yeah, Data Dash, it was really knows his stuff. He came onto the scene, September, of last year. Really kind of his channel's really done really well. Does a lot more technical analysis, and so he's going to appeal to a different, different kind of demographic. Ivan Tech is on Proof of Week hands. I know he's talking about it. He's the things that I've seen from him is he's been positive on it. So him as well as Sunny Decree, you can get in the Discord channel and talk a little bit more with those guys. Again, my advice, currently right now, until I look a little bit further into it, is if you are going to get into it, to not put a whole lot into it. Box Mining does that timestamp too. Yeah, Box Mining, I didn't really get, I know he's done some interviews. I didn't really come across a video of his that I felt like outperformed some of the other videos, at least in my perspective. So, I'm more attracted to certain videos, or I find more value in some of those videos than others. So, but I like Box Mining. I watch a lot of his stuff. So apologize if it is kind of late. I know it's yeah, interesting. Clover has strong heads. A lot of people talking about Proof of Week hands. So I'll have to do a video on that. I'm still working on a few other videos that I want to put out. I know a lot of people are doing pretty well on it. It seems to be like kind of the next like lending platform in a way. There's a lot of people that are doing pretty well with it. And apparently this is kind of one that if you get in early you can do well. And so that's why, like, for me, my advice is if you are going to get into it, at least right now, just to be cautious. All right, guys. So with that, I think I'm going to get off the stream here. I'm going to be looking to do some more mining videos of some of the local places here in Vietnam. There's a few others I want to check out. That's kind of a long-term thing, so I'm going to be looking into some of those and reporting back. What I'd like to do is I'd like to find some mining companies that would be a better option to invest in, as opposed to some of the ones that we're seeing in the U.S. and even a company like Genesis Mining. Genesis Mining was one that I recently just got a cease and desist letter, and a few I've been hearing some bad or negative news from Gigawatt Mining, a few others that are located in the U.S. So it might just be a little bit easier to invest in, a mining company that's outside of China, that's outside of the U.S., that's in a different regulatory environment. And I think Vietnam is a very interesting market right now. So I'm going to be looking into that a little bit more. So with that, I think I'm going to get off the stream. Appreciate you guys staying on. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.